Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to reach the level you dream about? I know what that feels like. I'm going to give you the solution to this. You work, you plan, you grind, yet something still feels stuck. Something's missing. Let's just explain and break down what this is. Here's the truth. It's not your effort that's holding you back. It's your identity. Tony Robbins says it best when he says that identity is destiny. Who you believe yourself to be dictates what is possible. Take a moment and really think about that. You can actually pause the video and really sit down and think about who are you? Who do you believe yourself to be? What are the thoughts that you think when you think about yourself? Think about your self-dialogue and how you refer yourself to yourself. How do you respond when people compliment you about your, not just your appearance, how do you respond when people compliment you about your talents, your gifts? When someone says you're really smart, you can come up with amazing ideas. When people say things that are positive about you, how do you respond? Are you someone who struggles with money, or are you someone who can build wealth effortlessly? If you found yourself in a very difficult situation, for example, if you found yourself dropped in the middle of the ocean with nothing, do you think you could build yourself back up again if you needed to? Do you have that insatiable self-belief in yourself that you could do that? Are you someone who is too shy to speak up, or someone who commands a room with confidence? Which one are you? Shy to speak up, or someone who commands a room with confidence? Are you someone who fails often and really struggles to get back on track after that? Or are you someone who sees failure as part of the process and you get back on track immediately and just forge forward? The way you see yourself is everything. And here's why. Your beliefs about yourself shape your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your results. Story time. When I was starting out, I didn't see myself as a successful creator. I started out with written content, blogging, creating content on various different platforms such as Hub Pages, Vocal Media, Medium.com and others. And I didn't see myself as a successful creator. Interestingly enough, I was already a successful freelancer and a successful digital business owner, but I wasn't really creating content for myself. I was creating content for clients. So I didn't see myself as a successful creator. I came in with so much self-doubt and so much feelings of insecurity. I was so scared of sharing my work. I used to think to myself, who am I to even try? What's the point? I would lie awake at night thinking like that. What's the actual point? No one's really going to care. No one's going to listen to what I have to say. No one's going to read what I have to say. Even though my clients had told me that some of the work that I had written had gained thousands and sometimes even millions of views. And because that was my identity at the time, I constantly sabotaged myself, procrastinating, overthinking, doubting every single idea. But when I look back, it's quite interesting because I'm an ideas person, and people have always said that. When I was in school, my teachers, especially my English teachers, would always say that I have so many ideas and that I'm an ideas person. And they would say they wouldn't be surprised if I made most of my money by coming up with ideas and implementing those ideas. And lo and behold, that's exactly what I've done. I've made majority of my money as a writer and now software developer and digital business owner. And I've made 6 and 7 figures selling digital products, and it's all on the back of my ideas. And for me, it wasn't about lack of skills, because I had the skills. Also, it wasn't about lack of effort, because I put in the time and I put in the work. And even now I've been successful with it, I'm still putting in a lot of effort. See, what I was doing is I was working, but I wasn't aligned with my own identity. And that's where the problem was. And that's probably the problem that you're having if you are stuck and you've been putting in a ton of work for a while. And one morning, really early morning, I woke up, it was about 3 a.m. and something clicked. If I wanted to change and I wanted to see different results, I had to become a different person in my own eyes. I literally had to kill the old version of myself. Not knowing that way, but yeah, I literally had to kill the old version of myself and step into my new skin as a new person. So I started asking myself, who do I need to be to get what I want? I had to simply decide that I was that person in order to get what I wanted. And that was to make more money and to become a successful creator at that time. Here's where the magic is. Once I started to identify as a successful creator, that's when things started to change. I started to see big results. I did a challenge on my Medium page where I wrote 150 articles. I took it as a job. I didn't take it as some kind of part-time thing that I did once in a while. I took it like a job. So when you're first starting out on, say, TikTok or YouTube or any platform, and you feel like, well, I don't really feel comfortable creating content because I don't have any followers. Or what's the point of creating content like I was a real content creator because I don't have any followers? I'm a beginner. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner. You have to do exactly as someone who is a full-time content creator does. And that is create content. If that's their job, then you have to do that. You have to create content. Think about it. An attorney, a doctor, someone who works in a coffee shop, someone who works in a retail store, do they only do that once in a while? They do it pretty much on a daily basis, or when they are working Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday or whatever it is, however many hours they work, they are doing that work on a daily basis because they identify as that thing. You meet someone who says, I'm an attorney. You ask them what they do, they say, I'm an attorney. Do they spend most of their day scrolling on TikTok and overthinking everything they do? No, they don't. They're confident in their work. They're confident in what they have to do. And they do the things that they are required to do on a daily basis in order to be an attorney or in order to be a doctor. So if you want to be a creator, you need to do the things that creators do. And what do creators do? They create content. They create. A creator doesn't necessarily have to be a content creator, but they create. An artist is a creator. Someone who makes music, a musician, they're a musician, but they're still a creator. So a musician isn't going to spend most of their time scrolling on TikTok and messing around and procrastinating. They are going to make music. So do that thing. The fear didn't disappear overnight. It didn't at all. But my actions started to align with my new identity. And I'm going to be honest with you, the fear, I don't feel like the fear ever really fully goes away. It's not about the fear disappearing. It's about fighting through the fear and just working through it anyway. Doing scared. Creating scared. So I stopped waiting for permission. I started putting my work out there. And lo and behold, I had a few viral articles that went really, really viral. And I had radios contacting me up, podcasts contacting me. I had other websites contacting me to do guest posts. There was just so many things, even sponsored posts I had as a result of it. I started believing in myself enough to take bold steps as well. And that's where things also shifted. If you see yourself as someone capable of growth, success and abundance, opportunities will appear, especially if you take those steps. You take that inspired action and you continue going and you compound those efforts on a daily basis and you remain consistent. That word consistency, I know it scares a lot of people because you think it must be something that's, every single day. But I tell you what, if you really, really want to take massive action, I would recommend that you do a content challenge. I'm a massive advocate of content challenges because they've been really, really powerful for me over the years. I'm currently running a content challenge called the Delusional Content Creator. If you're interested in that and you're watching this on YouTube, then the link will be in the description. If you're watching this on TikTok, then you can send me a DM and I'll send you the link. Step into the identity of the person that you want to be and get rid of the old person, the old version of yourself. It might not be overnight, but I tell you what, it can be overnight if you make a firm decision. Remember this, before you go, there's redemptive power in making a decision. So make a very firm decision, stand on business with that decision, stick to it, and be that person that is abundant, successful, confident, bold. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.